Hello everybody, hope you guys are enjoying your day. Today we're going to be looking at a potential severe weather outbreak over parts of the south central and central United States. That's going to be for tomorrow going into Thursday here, and we're going to be going over all of that in today's video, so make sure you are staying tuned all the way until the end. So we're starting off here with your National Weather Service. We have some winter weather advisories over northernmost Montana, probably in some elevated areas. We have some freeze warnings, freeze watches, and some frost advisories still over parts of West Virginia, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and into upstate New York there. We have some red flag warnings over central parts of Florida, southern Colorado, and into parts of Nevada and Arizona there. Seeing some red flag warnings, wind advisories throughout Nevada and California, as well as a little bit of Montana. We have some flood watches in effect for southern parts of Missouri, and then we also have some scattered air quality alerts over parts of the central and southern United States. So here's what the Storm Prediction Center is putting out in terms of your categorical outlook here, and we're saying we have a marginal risk in that green, we have a slight risk in that yellow, and a enhanced risk in that orange. And that enhanced risk is going to be because you're going to have this cluster of supercells that are going to be moving eastward, and it's going to be a very intense band that's going to move through fairly quickly. It may produce some flash flooding here and there, but really I think it will produce a couple tornadoes, and really you're going to have to deal with those very strong winds as you get that line of thunderstorms to move through. Right ahead of it, you're going to see those really strong gusts of wind. Now, we have a 2% chance of tornado risk in the green, which means that it's fair. There is a chance of it happening, but then as we get into that 5% chance risk, that's where we do have that more elevated risk of seeing some severe weather, and that's over parts of northern Oklahoma, northern Texas, and southern Oklahoma. There, now your wind risk. We have a 5% chance in the brown, a 15% chance in that yellow, and a 30% chance in that red. That's where you're really dealing with, again, those straight line winds, which could produce some damage from those winds. Now, your hail, we have a 5% chance in that brown, 15% chance in the yellow, and then we have a significant hatch region where we could see 2-inch hail or greater in diameter. So it is going to be some very large hail, damaging winds, potentially a tornado or two. But really, those winds and the hail are going to be the big threat for today, where this will be for tomorrow. And now going into Thursday through Friday here, this is going to be your categorical outlook for Thursday. Now, this could potentially have that slight risk be expanded. I think this should be actually a little bit further to the south. So we'll see what they do with this slight risk from the Storm Prediction Center. Now, this isn't my forecast here, but this is the Storm Prediction Center. And then later on in the video, we'll look at your modeled forecast here. We have a marginal risk in that green and a slight risk in that yellow, and then your probabilistic forecast, 5% chance of severe weather in that brown, 15% chance in that yellow there. Now, here is your simulated radar here from the NAM3CAM model, and this is going to be showing you where your thunderstorms are really going to pop up here. So this is going to be your lead line of thunderstorms. Now, this isn't really going to be your very severe thunderstorms. This is actually what's happening today into tonight, and now as we continue throughout the day, it really clears up, and that's going to allow for that energy to really make the atmosphere a little bit more unstable, and that's going to push all that very unstable air further to the north. And you're going to see when we look at your CAPE values, your convective available potential energy, showing you how much energy is in the atmosphere, you're going to see we're going to have values of about 6,000 or so, which is very high for severe weather, and you only really need 1,000. So you're about 5,000 more than what you really need, and all those thunderstorms are really going to eat up all that CAPE, and that's going to allow for them to really thrive and have a lot of energy with them. Now, as we continue here, you start to see right around west central Texas, you're starting to see along the panhandle of Texas, you're starting to see some showers develop. This will be by Wednesday night. Now, getting through Wednesday later on, probably after the sun has set by this point, and now going into the overnight time, this is really where you had that enhanced risk right over this area right here. And look where you have those very intense rain bands right there throughout north central Texas there. And as you continue here, you start to see that moves eastward, and it's moving eastward. It really weakens as it gets past this area. It uses all its energy really right at that one area, and then it kind of dies off as we continue. Now, let's start looking a little bit further to the north and to the east here. That's your lead band of some showers, but then let's look at here as we get through Thursday morning. You're starting to see some thunderstorms pop up about around Chicago and a little bit into northwestern Illinois. And then as we continue, it starts to move a bit further to the south, and you do see some thunderstorms start to pop up through there. Now, this model run doesn't go out far enough for us to see what happens, but looking at a little bit of those longer range models, it looks like you are going to have some more of those supercells develop throughout this area, throughout Missouri, and throughout Illinois there. Now, let's look at your CAPE values ahead of this system. Now, this is your CAPE values right when they're at their peak. Now, you can kind of see this kind of being eaten up, and it's even more visible when you look at this frame. You see those are that white area in between all those CAPE values. That's indicating that those thunderstorms are really using up all that energy. And if we look at how much energy was there before that, before these thunderstorms went through, you had CAPE values nearing 5,000 to almost 6,000 CAPE right over that area where you had the enhanced risk. And even if you are in 2,000 to even 4,000 CAPE, that's still sufficient for a decent thunderstorm. And definitely, I think you're going to have a pretty rough thunderstorm. And it's going to be mainly just one thunderstorm. It's not going to be really those thunderstorms that kind of line up behind each other and you kind of see multiple waves of thunderstorms. It looks to be one big cluster of thunderstorms that looks to move through this area. And you see, it really just gets eaten up as we could go through the day on Wednesday and into Thursday. Now, looking at your CAPE values ahead of the system as we get through onto Thursday. Now you can kind of see a little bit of how much CAPE you're going to see. And this is probably going to extend a little bit further north with this 2,000 CAPE to right around here or so. And you are going to see, again, those thunderstorms are going to be produced further to the south of that boundary where you're seeing little CAPE and then you're seeing a lot of CAPE further to the south. Now, another ingredient that we like to look at is your dew points, and this is showing you how much moisture is in the atmosphere. Really, 60 dew points are sufficient for some decent thunderstorms, but then if you really want some good thunderstorms, you want about 65 or greater, and you're seeing we have some 70s or upper 60s at least over this area that is going to be seeing those thunderstorms. And as we continue here, you start to see, look at all those thunderstorms kind of using up all that moisture, and you kind of see that indent where those thunderstorms were tracking through, and right behind this you see that dry line move through, and you're starting to see dew points into the 50s and into the lower 60s where before they were in the 70s. So we have a lot of moisture to work with in the atmosphere. You have less moisture to work with as you get further to the north over parts of the Ohio and in the Mid-Atlantic area, the Ohio River Valley, and then also through the Mississippi River Valley. You're really seeing we have CAPE values of dew points of about between the middle 60s and the upper 60s over some regions. So it is going to be a fairly decent day in terms of your dew points, and that's going to really help fuel these thunderstorms over parts of Illinois and Missouri for as we get into Thursday and even through Friday, which would be May 13th into May 14th. Now, that is going to wrap it up for today's video. Please consider liking the video, subscribing, and turning on notifications, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.